Okay, right. In 1 minute. I've got it. Okay. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. If you're joining from Nigeria or most part of Africa, I would say good evening. And if you are joining us from other part of the world, I greet you according to your time zone. All right, so today I have with me Mr. Damilola Olisa, a Commonwealth scholar. And today's session, we are going to be talking about the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. All right, so if you are joining us, wherever you're joining us, let us know on the comment box. We'll be talking about the process of the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, what you need to know, how you can make your application strong, and also we'll be talking about the nomination process, the difference between the Commonwealth Master Scholarship and the Commonwealth Share Scholarship. We'll also be taking questions from the viewers. So if you are joining us, you can share the link to this video with your friends who are applying for this scholarship so they can also benefit from this. Without taking much of our time, this is 1 hour session. Won't take more than 1 hour on this. I'll quickly introduce myself, and I will also allow my special guest today to introduce himself, and we're diving into his trailer. Okay, so my name is Sunday Okafor. I'm a Commonwealth scholar. I won the Commonwealth Scholarship 2018, and currently I'm a PhD student at the University of Alabama here in USA. My research area is in transportation engineering, and I have with me Mr. Damilola. Mr. Dami, please can we meet you?
Thank you so much. Firstly, thank you for the invitation. I must say it's a great honor to be here tonight. My name is Damilola Olisa, just like the way Sunday has mentioned. Sunday and I were Commonwealth scholars, I think in 2018 or 2019.
1890, yeah.
Yeah. For me, I used the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship because I got selected for both Commonwealth Masters and Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So I decided to go for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. And that's it. My background is in the area of communication and development. At the moment, I'm into media research, media strategy, and all of that. So today I'm going to be sharing my experience about applying for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, everything you need to know about it, how to apply, and all of that. So it's a great pleasure. I look forward to addressing the questions you're going to be asking.
All right, thank you very much, Dami. So quickly, I would like to start by sharing a bit of want you to share a bit of your experience as a Commonwealth scholar. You tested the two sides of Commonwealth scholarship for masters, right? There is Commonwealth Master Scholarship, there is Commonwealth Share Scholarship. Both are for masters program in the USA. And the difference is quite unique, and you have that well-informed experience in that regard. So I want you to quickly share your experience when it comes to the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. What is the basic difference between the two forms of scholarships?
Okay, thank you. Firstly, for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, you're actually being sponsored by the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, which is called the CSC. While for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you're being sponsored by the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission and the university that's going to nominate you. And another unique difference is for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, you could be nominated by the governmental agency in your home country or selected NGOs. So for Commonwealth Masters, the nominating agencies, and by nominating agency, I mean organizations that would nominate you to the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. You could either be nominated by the government institution in your own country, which could be either the educational agency in your home country, or some selected NGOs. In the course of today's session, I'm going to highlight some of the NGOs that could nominate you to the Commonwealth. So that's it for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship. While for the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, you can be nominated by only one organization, and that's a UK university. So for Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, it's only a UK university that can nominate you for the scholarship. So that's just the two major differences in these scholarships.
All right, Dami, thank you for that unique distinction. For Commonwealth Master Scholarship, it has to be an agency in your home country, basically.
Yeah.
I've come to, there are a lot of people that have been asking this question. I know most information are there on the Commonwealth website, but sometimes people get, things mixed up and they need clarity, right? So I understand that based on my own experience that the Commonwealth Share Scholarship, they have specific schools that you must apply to, and they have specific programs you must apply to. For the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, is it tenable to any university in the UK? Can you apply to any university in the UK and any program in the UK?
Yes. For the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, that's the unique thing about the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. You can apply to any program of your choice, as long as the program is offered by a UK university, as long as it's a master's program offered by a UK university, you can apply for it. That's the unique thing. For Commonwealth Shared Scholarship, there's a selected, there's a list of selected courses you can apply for, which the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission would always release every year. But for Commonwealth Masters, you can apply, you can decide to go and apply for anything of your choice. But the most important thing is, as long as you can relate the program you're applying for to achieving development in your own country, that's just the most underlying important thing you have to have at the back of your mind when you're selecting any program you want to apply for.
All right. Thank you very much. I think that's one of the things that makes Commonwealth Master Scholarship more elaborate, because for the shared scholarship, you are limited to the eligible courses. So once you can't find any course that you're eligible to apply for in those courses, then you won't be able to get into it, to apply in the first place. But for the Master Scholarship, as Dami rightly said, you can apply to any program in the UK at any university. So the another thing I want you to quickly share, basically is about your experience. At what point did you decide to apply for the Commonwealth Share Scholarship? Was it at your first attempt? I know you have a lot of videos you've done on your YouTube channel that you talked about your Commonwealth Share Scholarship. If you are just knowing Dami for the first time, he has a very well growing YouTube channel that is doing well, and he shared a lot of information related to personal development, scholarship, and a lot of stuff. You can check that out. Just search for Damilola ODS, and you can get a lot of information from his his YouTube channel. But Dami, I want to quickly emphasize more on at what point did you started applying for the Commonwealth Scholarship? Was it at your first attempt that you won it, or was it after your second attempt, or at the second attempt? So yeah, quickly on that.
I think it was my first attempt. It was only the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship I applied for, because I applied for only the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship in my first attempt. But in my second attempt, I applied for both Commonwealth Shared Scholarship and Commonwealth Masters Scholarship in my second attempt. I think at this point, sorry, I'm going to digress a bit, Blessed. I want to emphasize the procedure on how to apply for the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, because that's the big question a whole lot of people have in mind. I'm sure you must have received DMs like that about how, because the whole process seems clumsy. Let me quickly break it down. The first thing is you need admission. You need to identify three UK programs, three UK master's program you want to apply for. That's the first stage. If you're applying, identify the programs you're going to be applying for and apply for them. If you haven't applied, go and apply right now. Apply for 3 programs. After applying for those programs, then the next thing you're going to do is go onto the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission portal. The CSC has a portal where you can do anything relating to submitting your applications. You're going to see a very long form there. Fill the form. When you're trying to fill the form online, there's a very important question they're going to ask in this second stage of filling the form. And that is, which nominating agency are you applying through? So if you're from Nigeria, you can apply through the Federal Scholarship FSB, Federal Scholarship Board. That's the nominating agency you can apply through if you're from Nigeria. So that's the agency you're going to select. If you're from Ghana, pick the nominating agency that is in charge of your educational system. You're going to see it on the portal there. If you're from India, the Indian applicants also have their own educational body in charge of nomination. You're going to see it there. Pick the one that relates to your country. If you're not applying through a governmental agency, it is better you go for the selected NGOs that are available. If you want to apply for those NGOs, ensure you read the requirements of the NGO before you go ahead to apply. So after you filled the form, the next thing you have to do is keep in touch with your nominating agency about how they're going to go, about how they're going to do the nominating process. Most times, for Nigerian applicants that are applying through FSB, that is Federal Scholarship Board, FSB would always call for an interview. FSB is not going to send a personal invite. They're not going to send you an email. They're just going to put it up on their website and on their Facebook page. This is very important because, blessed, I remember last year, a lot of people missed the interview. After the interview had occurred, I still got some DMs about, oh, I missed the interview and things like that. So FSB is not going to send you an individual specific message or email or whatsoever. They're just going to put it on their website, put the information about the interview on their website, and that's going to be it. So keep eyes on FSB website if you're applying through FSB, and keep an eye on their Facebook page as well. So as to know that this is when they're going to be having the interview, you can just quickly come to Abuja. Abuja is where they normally have the interview. Just do the interview and wait till when you're going to be nominated by FSB and eventually selected by the Commonwealth.
All right, Dami, that's a very good one. I've gotten a couple of questions, and one of them is that after applying to the schools, the 3 schools you just mentioned, and also submitting or starting an application on the Commonwealth website, you are to select your nominating agency on the website, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
After selecting that nominating agency, do you need to submit any application to that nominating agency? That's one question.
Okay.
And okay, take that one first. So before we.
Firstly, it depends on the nominating agency you are applying through. In most cases, if you're applying through FSB would not ask you to submit anything to them yet. It is when it's time for the interview, that is when you submit your application to them. They would on the interview notice, they're going to list all the stuff you need to bring. You have to bring all your documents. The form you filled online, you have to print it and submit it to them. For FSB, you have to bring all of those things. If you're applying through any of those NGOs, let me quickly check the name of those NGOs. Let's say I'm connecting on my laptop now.
Yeah,
trying to get the name.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the NGOs is Canon Collins. Canon Collins Educational and Legal Assistance Trust. But unfortunately, Nigerians are not eligible to apply for Canon Collins through Canon Collins. If you're from Botswana, Lesotho, Malawi, and the like, South Africa, you can apply through them. We also have Forum for Africa Women Educationalists. Nigerians are eligible to apply for that one. We also have Early Access Network. We have Welcome Trust. We have Window Trust International. Excuse me. So there are a lot of them that you can apply through. So, and another thing you have to do is you have to check if you're applying through any of these NGOs, ensure you check the requirements of the NGOs too, because they all have their unique system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember there's this guy that we both observe our Commonwealth scholarship back then in the UK. I think it's Femi, something Femi. I can't remember. He was from FUTA. He was a lecturer in FUTA before he came for the scholarship. And probably one time we are talking, he said he was nominated by his school or something. I don't know, but I think there are other agencies in Nigeria apart from FSB that nominates, right? Yeah, and I don't know how that works actually. So if you have any information on that, you can maybe elaborate.
Yes, that's very true. For concerning that, a few Nigerian universities are also eligible to nominate, but most Nigerian universities, they nominate only their staff. So normally, most of those universities, they're expected to just nominate candidates that apply. But most of the Nigerian universities that are eligible nominate their staff, Nigerian lecturers probably currently lecturing in the university. So if you're a lecturer lecturing in any of the universities that are eligible to nominate, that's a big opportunity for you. So just ensure that you quickly liaise with your university and see whether your university is eligible to nominate you. If your university is eligible to nominate you and you're working with the university, then why not? Why don't you get nominated by your university instead of having to go through FSB or any of the available NGOs?
All right. Okay, that makes sense. And there's something I have not kind of seen about or observed about the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. For instance, I know for the Commonwealth Share Scholarship, you will see a list. They will list a list of eligible programs and eligible institutions, and also another list which will contain the number of nominating slots for each of those institutions. But for the Master Scholarship, I don't know if they usually have number of slots for different countries or different nominating agencies. Can you maybe share some insight on that if you have that?
Funny enough, I'm sure there is a list of available slots, but Commonwealth doesn't make it public. The Commonwealth Scholarship Commission doesn't make it public at the level of Commonwealth Masters Scholarship, because this is why I say that each nominating agency is required to nominate 3 times more than the required number. For instance, if FSB is expected to nominate 50 this year, the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission would require that FSB nominates 150. Let's say the Commonwealth would require that she nominates 150. And when they nominate 150, then the Commonwealth will still do its own screening. So I need to mention that being nominated is not all in all, because the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission will definitely do its own screening. So when you're nominated, don't go about celebrating yet, even though it's a big, even though it's a big deal. If you're nominated, don't go about celebrating yet. Calm down and wait for the final selection by the CSE, because the CSE is the one to do the final selection.
Okay. I think in that case, I would say maybe the Commonwealth Share Scholarship has a bit of advantage to the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, in the sense that for the Commonwealth Share Scholarship, based on my experience, of course, things do change. If once you are nominated by the school, because the schools have a number of slots for nomination, and what they normally do is, if the number of slots they have is 10, that means they will nominate 10 candidates and another 10 will be on reserve. Yeah. In case any of the nominated candidates did not accept the offer, or something come up or thereabout, they can replace the person with the reserve list on the reserve list. So once you are nominated, I've not seen, although it will exist anyway, anyone nominated that did not get a scholarship, except the person decided not to accept it. But this is it. If you are nominated by the school, it is guaranteed that they want to give you the scholarship. But after nominating you, they will forward your name to CSC, and CSC will do their screening and do some background check and everything to make sure that information you provided, both criminal report, everything about you, history and all those stuff are real, are correct. And then most time, once you are nominated, you can still celebrate low-key. but until you get your award letter, that's when you know that, oh, this is set to
that's very true. That's very true. For Commonwealth share, just like you mentioned, once you're nominated, you have 90% guarantee of being selected.
Exactly. So I would like us to talk about the essays, because I know with both the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, the Commonwealth Year Scholarship, the essays looks probably the same. I've not written that of Commonwealth Master Scholarship, but you have done both sides. And you know if there is any difference in requirements, or if there is no any other required essay that you need to write in conjunction with the normal ones. I would like you to elaborate on the different essays that you need to write for the scholarship.
Okay. Both essays are almost the same thing. Like, it's still the same portal, it's the same EAS, electronic application system you're going to use for shared, and you're going to use for the general one. So it's almost the same thing. Majorly asking about what are you going to do for your home country? What is your long-term plan, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan? The basic thing I often advise applicants when trying to approach this essay, and this is the underlining thing, always see this application like a business proposal. Excuse me. Make it look like someone wants to pay you, someone wants to give you money. Like, definitely the CSC wants to invest. An average tuition in the UK for a master's is around £16,000 plus your stipend of, like, let's say £10,000 or thereabouts. So plus and minus, the CSC is going to invest up to £30,000 on you. So look at it like a business proposal. What are they going to benefit? What is the CSC going to benefit? What is your own country going to benefit? What is your community going to benefit if the CSC invests £30,000 on you? So that's the big problem a whole lot of applicants have. Most applicants see the essays, they just see it as just normal essays, but these things are actually a proposal. You need to make it as real as possible. The idea, the project I want to come up with after my program, is it practical enough for the CSC to invest £30,000 on me? So that's the question you need to ask yourself. You need to make it as detailed as possible. Make it look like if the CSC doesn't invest that £30,000 on you, the whole world is coming to an end.
I think you've just summarized the whole essay in few sentences, which is very, very important, because I've come across a couple of essays by Commonwealth scholarship applicants that actually talks more about themselves. They just emphasize on their achievement, their skills, and they spend less time talking about what they want to use those skills to do for the betterment of their society, for the betterment of their country, their local communities, how those knowledge and skills they have, our qualification they have, can benefit their country in return. And why, that kind of thing. And basically the scholarship objective is to, the primary objective is to raise change makers or change catalysts in different sectors of Commonwealth countries, right? So, and if you are not giving them reason why they should invest in you, or your developmental plans and all those stuff like that. You just dwell on, I have these skills, I want to do this. It must be something
A lot
achievable.
of applicants always make it about them.
Exactly.
No. It's not about. The thing is, you getting a scholarship is not about you. It's about what are you going to do to improve lives in your own country, in your community. And the other time I was talking about making it practical, because I've gone for a couple of business proposals, where you have to bid for contracts. So I understand these things. Like, you have to make it real, because the person who wants to invest in you doesn't want to waste his money. So you have to give the Commonwealth time frames. If you invest these £30,000 on me within the next 6 months after completion of my study, this is what I would have achieved for my own country. This is what I would have achieved for my local community. And this is how the results of my projects are going to be measured. Because these things have to be really, really practical. You don't just tell us that it's not just enough for you to say that you want to do X, Y, Z. You also need to include how would these things be measured? Make it practicable. Okay, if I'm going to measure the results, how am I going to, let's say,
yes.
Can I continue this way? Okay, so if you're going to,
the video, right?
Going to talk about these things, you have to talk about how you're going to measure, how you're going to measure the results, how we're going to know that these things are real. So this is one of the things a whole lot of applicants really need to take note of.
That's totally, can you hear me, Dami?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. I think that's very key, because when it comes to writing the essays, we have the motivation essay, personal statements, we have the developmental plans, and we have what's the other one? We have your career plans, we have your study in the UK, objectives and all those stuff, right? The two major essays when it comes to, for me, if I want to rank those essays, the two major ones are your personal statement and developmental plan. Because for the personal statement, you have to show that you have faced some challenges, because they will give you some information on what they want you to write. What challenges have you faced towards your academic pursuits? How were you able to overcome them to reach, to attain higher education? And they will give you a brief. I've forgotten how they normally construct that. But what the essay is all about is for you to show that you understand the challenges of the community. You have passed through some of these challenges that the community is facing, right? And probably maybe one of your family member or something has passed through a particular illness. You have had to see them suffer or pass through difficult times. And that has been the reason why you are pursuing higher education, to find solution to that illness, to contribute to eradicating such illness. So you have to show something that is real, that can be related, that can be felt, right? So once you're able to demonstrate that in your essay, you don't have to form something. You don't have to fabricate something that is not real. It can easily be spotted when it is fabricated. But when you are talking about what you have experienced in the community where you grew up, how difficult it is for children to access primary education or good education, and you were able to scale through that process, and come up to the level of higher education, the degree you have now. Demonstrate how that has motivated you in pursuing a further education, in applying for this scholarship, and how you will be able to use the knowledge you get, to make sure that these things are eradicated. There's an improvement in the society based on your experience. You don't want others to suffer what you suffer. You write it as a story. So when someone is reading it, the person will feel the passion in your writing, right? So I know I've shared my experience and how I wrote my essays, and the videos are here on my channel. So those are the things that stands out. And I know Dami will agree with me that it's not about your grade alone. It's not about you having a first class, having a 2-1 or whatever. But it's about how you're able to, write an essay that shows the passion that you have for your country, the passion that you have for your community. Dami.
Yeah, very true. Very concerning grades, you're very correct on that. I've seen a whole lot of people graduated with 2-1 being nominated ahead of persons who even graduated with first class. So grades are not just the only determining factor when it comes to being selected for the Commonwealth Masters or the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. Factors such as your home country benefits is very, very important. Your essays are very, very important. They are the major things that are being considered, as well as your grades, your past experience, your professional experience, your voluntary experience are also being considered.
Exactly. I forgot to mention voluntary leadership experience. That's another important essay.
So all of those things are being considered combined, not just grades alone. If you're relying on only your grades, I'm sorry, you might not get it.
It's not even, you don't have to be sorry, like you won't get it. That's just it. Because I know someone, even someone that have a good essay. These things are relative, and there is no particular template on how to win the Commonwealth scholarship. I know Dami is an expert, like he got 4 nominations. His template might work for most people, but there's no no. You know what I mean, right? So what I'm trying to say is that I know someone that had 2-1, because I did my master's in Nottingham Trent. I have a colleague of mine that we started on Commonwealth Share Scholarship together. He had, I think, around 3.7 or 3.6 something. He graduated with on his first degree. And the program he applied to was the same program a colleague from my school back in Nigeria, who was the overall best graduating student in the whole university, applied for that same program. And the other guy was nominated and he wasn't nominated, although he still got Commonwealth scholarship from another school. So then when you now weigh the two, you'll be like, oh, this guy has almost 4.9 something overall best graduating student. He has all this good academic performance and everything. What then is the problem? Why wasn't he got nominated? Then that tells you that it's beyond just having good results. Good result is an advantage. We are not disputing that fact. It's an advantage because majority of people that are nominated for most of the Commonwealth scholarship are first class holders. Like, it's there, the statistic is there, it's not hidden, right? So, but it goes beyond just having a good grade. If you don't have good essays, you don't have good, other things are not well written cohesively, right? And another thing is cohesion. You can't be saying one thing in your motivation letter and then
very true, very true. It needs to,
then you jump and your experience does not has anything to do with what your developmental impact. Like you have to join everything, merge it together to form a coherent essay.
Definitely. The ideas have to sync. You can't say in your personal statement, you can't say your 10-year plan in your personal statement is to become there's this faded idea a whole lot of applicants normally use about becoming the minister in their own country and all of those things. Those ideas are actually faded. Those things are worn out. Think of something better, actually.
Like someone saying that he want to build a dam after he finished the program. I want to start building roads in his community. Within 2 years or 3 years of finishing the program. I'll be like, How do you want to do that?
Actually, it can be feasible if it has strong collaboration, like very, very strong collaboration. Except that
it doesn't have it. It doesn't talk about the collaboration. Like he just said, oh, based on my experience, I will, get the government to start building. I will negotiate with the government. Like, how do you do that in this country?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it needs to have emphasized on the need for collaboration. If you have talked about that, it has facilitated this collaboration with this particular organization who has done something related in the past. It has personal contacts in that particular organization that is in charge of road construction and things like that. It would have been a little bit more feasible, but without those things, it's just wishy-washy.
Exactly. So the main point there is not about how big your plans are, is how do you want to achieve it. It must be clear, right? It must be very clear. You can have a big plan, which is fantastic. Nobody is disputing that. But you don't have to find something big for you to be able to make an impact. What they are looking for is not that you're gonna affect the whole country. They don't want someone, they don't even want you to.
Yeah, that's why they always say community.
Community, exactly. It can be as little as one little people of maybe a community with people of less than 50,000, 20,000 living there. And you have spotted a particular problem or challenges they are facing, maybe in terms of hygiene, poor water availability, maybe healthcare issue, maybe the pregnant women, they don't get access to primary healthcare. You need to sensitize them. They need more education on primary healthcare. There are a lot of things you can think about related to your field that can impact the little local communities. That is where development actually starts. It's not you affecting the big cities, building roads in Lagos or building roads in Abuja or building water, those big projects, you don't really need to go there. Those are federal kind of things, but there are some local communities that the federal government or the government itself most times does not get to affect. And you being someone that can bridge the gap, if you are knowledgeable now, you have this degree, you can work with people who have the resources to affect this community. Then you can bring them together and talk with them and they can bring about change in that community. Those are the things that
very true. Could you even talk about organizing trainings? Maybe you've acquired training in the use of this particular software, you've acquired training in this particular gadget, something trendy and all of that. They talk about how you're going to train people in your community to acquire related skills so as to become gainfully employed. Those are basic things. Okay, then if you talk about something as simple as that, then you say in how you're going to measure the results. You say that after training them, within the next 6 months, you're going to organize surveys, focus group discussions with the people who you've trained, thinking about asking them questions about how have they been able to utilize the skills that they've acquired during the training. And probably there's a need for follow-up training, follow-up sessions, something as basic, as simple as that. That's how you can even measure the impact you're having in your projects.
That is it. Most people think, that this SS has to be very complex, very complicated, very vague and all that. But they are just
You're taking just the masters. It's just the masters. You're not planning to become. You're not taking a degree to become the president of your country.
Exactly. Exactly. It's about the community basically. I think that makes a lot of sense. And when it comes to you writing about your voluntary leadership experience, I think that's another essay where most people usually say, I don't have voluntary experience, I don't have leadership experience. The point is that there's no one that does not have voluntary experience. Like, no matter how little it is, even leadership experience there are some things you might count as, oh, these are not experienced, these are not worthy to be in this. Say they are too small, they are too local. I need something, I need to have worked with a particular known non-governmental organization or particular known agency for me to be able to say, oh, I have voluntary leadership experience. But no, you don't have to be, right, Dami? So I would like you to elaborate, like share your experience when it comes to the voluntary leadership experiences.
Okay, I think where a whole lot of people often get it wrong is it's in the meaning itself. When we talk about voluntary leadership experience, it could either be formal experience or informal experience. When I mean formal experience, that's the kind of voluntary activities you do in a structured organization. Maybe when you volunteered for a particular organization in your school, or you volunteered for a particular organization at an event. Those ones are the formal ones. While the informal ones could simply be that maybe you organize people in your community to just clean the environment. That's informal. So for the fact that you were able to organize people in your community to just clean the environment, it's already part of your voluntary leadership experience. Even if you're not the one that organized people, the fact that probably you just joined them, you're already participating in voluntary leadership activities. So a lot of times, it doesn't have to be only formal events alone. It doesn't have to be those kind of events where you have to apply, you have to submit an application that, oh, you're applying to become a volunteer for this event, you're planning to volunteer for this organization and all of that. It could be informal as well. It could be some of those basic things we do in our religious places. Like, let's say at some point in your church or in your mosque, you decided to just organize some trainings for youth in teaching them about gender-based violence. That's part of voluntary leadership activities. So it doesn't necessarily have to be all the time, have to be formal alone. It could be informal. It could be things we do at home. It could be things we do in our community. It could be things we do in our church, in our mosque, anywhere. As long as you're occupying a leadership position, that's the most important thing. You're doing something you're not being forced to do. That's the most important thing about volunteering. So the best way to go about it is take a piece of paper, just a blank piece of paper, just sit down, relax, think about all of those times where you just decided on your own to organize anything to improve the life of people around you. Not necessarily at your place of work only. It could be public in your community or anywhere. Just think about and write each one of them down. By the time you start writing them down, you discover that you've carried out voluntary activities, over 10 voluntary activities that are very critical.
That is exactly the point, because most times we think very high, like look at the top. We forgot that there are a lot of values we've added value to people at the lower level, and that is what mostly counts, right? That's
that's what mostly counts. Yeah,
because the one you did at the top level might not really have direct impact to the community, like the local communities. And this is about service. When you are talking of service, it is community service. It is more about the local based community, those people that the less privileged, those that can't easily have access to those services. If there is no free donation, or if there is someone that can volunteer to guide them or to teach them on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So those are what really counts most of the time. So yeah. So that means basically I would like us to not spend much time again on this. For our viewers, if you have questions, feel free to ask on the comment section. We'll take the questions and we proceed from there. So Let me quickly, I want us to wrap up the Commonwealth application process. You've talked about different stages of the application. You've talked about the application process, how you need to apply for three schools in the UK.
Yeah.
And the Commonwealth Master Scholarship is tenable at any university in the UK.
Yeah.
And any program of your choice, basically. But still,
Yeah.
irrespective of the, I think you need to also, the applicant need to also be careful when choosing their courses, right? And
Yeah, definitely.
in the sense that those courses must align with Commonwealth objectives. Even if they didn't state it categorically, like Dami, I need you to like maybe elaborate on that. So viewers will get.
I think that depends on individuals. Actually, there are over 1,000 programs in the UK, over 1,000 master's programs. So personally, it's now your own responsibility to look at how you can link the program with the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission objectives. If you sit down and think critically, there's no program that you can link to development. The underlying factor of Commonwealth Scholarship Commission objectives is just development. It's development and impact in the society. So there's no program you can't study as long as you can relate that program to developing people, to contributing towards development impact in your own country. You just have to think critically. There's no program. If, for instance, if you want to take a program in data analysis, let me give a basic example. So now you might ask yourself, how would me studying data analysis contribute towards development? What about you say that after studying data analysis, your goal now is on how to train people in your community because there's large-scale unemployment. Let's say in the community where you live, let's say in the states where you live in your own country, there is over 70% unemployment. You can talk about your goal now is now on how to train people to be able to acquire related skills in the area of data analysis to become gainfully employed. So technically, you've related data analysis to unemployment. You can even talk about how you want to work in probably the Ministry of Finance in your own country and how you need to help to interpret governmental data. Maybe the government in your own country has problem with data gathering and things like that. So technically, you've linked your course to development. So there's, for me, on a personal note, for me, there's no course you can't study as long as you can relate it to development.
Basically, that is perfectly true. So the reason why I pointed it out is that once you are picking
Sorry, I want to cut you. Okay. You remember that you are studying transportation. You studied transportation at Nottingham. Now, an average person is going to ask you, how is transportation related to development? But technically, you brought it in together and it became a fantastic idea that it's not just about that you're studying transportation alone. It's about how would you studying transportation affect the people, especially at the grassroots level.
Exactly. That is the main thing. That is the main thing. It's about you linking, being able to link the course to development. Once you can do that, and you're able to link it with your experience, with your what you've studied. Most time you don't even have to totally align with what you have studied before, right? I know mostly for the Chevening scholarship, we can even study agricultural related course and decide to switch to communication or strategic development or a course like that. So it's about you being able to integrate that and talk about it very well, cohesively.
Yeah.
All right. Someone is asking, what are the required documents for the Commonwealth scholarship? I know that is clear, but just take that.
There are a lot of required documents. Firstly, you need your international passport. You need your transcript. You need your certificate. You need all of your documents proving that you graduated from your first degree. And also you need references, at least from 2 individuals. But that's just for the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission. You also need to check with the nominating agency you're applying through whether it requires any additional documents or any special documents that you need to provide.
Yes, with regards to certificate, transcript, I know that probably maybe they have changed things now. So, but whatever information we are giving you here, most of them are on the Commonwealth website, right? Under the eligibility criteria, requirement, and all those stuff, you will see what you need to apply for this scholarship. So we are just elaborating on it based on our experience, and things can rapidly change. We don't know the latest, maybe updates regarding all these scholarships. But basically, what Dami have said is that your international passport is very important, because when you are applying for the scholarship, they will ask you to enter your passport number. That is an evidence to show that, oh, once you are awarded the scholarship, you are ready to travel, right? So it's not, if you don't have that at the start, it can work. That might not be a compulsory requirement for you to fill at application stage, but it is important that you have it at that point, okay? And also, I know that when you are applying for this scholarship, most time, if you are filling the Commonwealth form, you are applying for the scholarship because you apply to the school separately to get an offer. Then you come back to the Commonwealth portal through the electronic application system to apply for the scholarship itself, listing your nominating agency for the scholarship. So I know for Commonwealth shared scholarship, that means you need to, there's a place you'll be asked to enter your an ID, application, like an ID that relates the school offer to the EAS portal, like your student number or application number or something like that. I don't know if that is also the case for the master's scholarship.
It depends, actually. For the Commonwealth Master's Scholarship, the major important thing they're going to ask is they want to know about whether you've already secured admission or not. They're going to ask that you should talk about what stage, what communication have you had with the university. So at that point, you're expected to talk whether, oh, I already have an unconditional admission offer with XYZ University. I already have ABC admission offer with so university. So that's where we're expected to talk about your admission offer there, because it's also very important. One of the conditions of being selected for the scholarship is whether you have admission or not. If you don't have admission as at the time of final selection, you're definitely not going to be selected.
That's it. So with the remaining few minutes, let me take these few questions. This one is asking how many years is required working experience. There's no required number of years. So just list all your working experience, whether it's a month working experience, 2 months, 3 years, 4 years, just list it. Most people that even won the Commonwealth scholarship, they are fresh out of from university. So that doesn't really count. But if you have all your experience, list them, ensure you capture everything. So, and again, someone is asking, shed more light on the step about applying to 3 UK university. It is very clear. If you are just like in your country when you want to get into a university, you apply to the school to give you an offer, and you know that you're going to pay for your tuition. So you are paying by yourself. You don't need to apply for scholarship. So in this case now, you are applying to get an offer, but you can't pay. That's why you are applying for the scholarship, to get for the scholarship body to pay for your tuition, your living expenses and everything. So it's a 2 different application. Find 3 schools that you want to apply to, get to know their requirements. Did they require you to submit an English test? If they do, are you ready to write that English test? If you are not ready to write it, look for another school that doesn't require English test. There are tons of UK universities that don't require you to write any test. But if you are going to schools, top schools like maybe Cambridge, Oxford, they might require you to write, I don't know. But make sure you have the requirements of the schools of your choice, then apply to those schools I know UK university doesn't take them time to give you an offer. Maybe within 2, 3,
within
maximum 1
two.
month, you get an offer. So that's it. So after that, even while you are waiting for an offer, you can start applying for the scholarship, right? So that's basically it.
Let's say,
Okay,
do you remember the guy who had 25 admission offers during our time?
I remember that guy. I don't know how many nominations he later got. Was it? Did he get any?
I think he got one. I think he got
one.
one.
So it's not about the number of schools he applied to actually, and that is for the Commonwealth Share Scholarship. Is that the same for Commonwealth Masters? Can you apply to more than
yeah,
three?
I need to mention that. Yeah, for Commonwealth Masters, you can still do multiple applications. You can apply through multiple nominating agencies. For instance, you can apply through FSB. After applying through FSB, you can go ahead still apply for any of the Nigerian universities. If you're a staff of the universities, you can still apply through any of the NGOs that are Nigerians are eligible to apply for, or probably your own country, anyone you feel you're eligible to apply for. So multiple application is also allowed.
Okay. I think that's where we'll be rounding it up. Thank you very much, Dami, and thank you everyone that joined the call. This video will be here on the channel after this call, and you can always come back to it if you need. Dami, do you have any final encouragement to people who are applying to this scholarship or something to tell them?
I would just say anyone applying should know that it's going to be a long journey. They shouldn't give up. Getting a scholarship just requires diligence and continue to improve on yourself. That's basically it. Keep applying and continue improving on your profile. Definitely, you get one. Don't just sit down and apply for only the Commonwealth alone. Apply as many as possible scholarship you find available online. Apply for them and keep improving on your profile. You get one.
That rounds it up. Dami, thank you very much for joining this call. I appreciate your time.
It's a great pleasure, man.
I see you on the other side. We're outside.
Yeah.